What's going on, folks? Welcome back to your Lake Fork guide, Charlie. Charlie's joining us today, also known as Vic Pearsall, but really, just drop us a Charlie in the comments if you would. Hey, we're here in lovely Lake Palestine in East Texas. It's springtime. It's spawning season. That may or may not mean looking at them, but what it does mean is there's some big bass on the bank. This is a shallow water fishery. More important than that, Bass Pro Tour is about to be here next week, so we thought we would come out here today and give you guys a little look around at Old Lake Palestine, do a little preview, show you guys what you can expect when you're watching heavy hitters with the Bass Pro Tour. Y'all stay tuned. All you guys on the Bass Pro Tour, I know some of y'all are watching this. Y'all catch them up when you're here, because there's some big fish in this pond.
Big fish in here.
It's kind of awkward now, isn't it? All right, let's go fishing. Guys, we're out here on Lake Palestine, and this is 6 days before the Heavy Hitter Bass Pro Tour event starts. I got my good buddy Vic Pearsall. Charlie. Oh, Vic Pearsall is here with me. We'll just call him Charlie in the comments if you don't mind. Vic's a good buddy of mine. He also has recently started guiding on Fork, but been fishing up there for over 30 years. And hey man, if you like Vic's personality today, he seems like somebody you might want to go fishing with, reach out to us at yourlakeforkguide.com, ask for Vic, and we'll get you out on a guide trip with my boy. It should be a good time of year to be here, man. It's the beginning of April, dog. Like we just warmed up here in the last couple of weeks. Like these fish have kind of been waiting. So what I'm anticipating is we're gonna have, and Palestine's kind of known to be a shallow water fishery predominantly. It's not that there's not offshore fishing, but predominantly Palestine, the tournaments over the years, most of them get one on the bank, pretty much, really shallow. And so what I'm anticipating is just really being able to cover a bunch of water and get some bites.
Right. That's definitely what it looks like out here by the grass and the tails and everything. We should be able to cover a lot of water quick and see what comes out.
Yeah, and you haven't been here in forever, like
it's
20 years, 20 years or whatever. But like I've fished here a lot in my past, but I mean not just an overabundant amount, but man, recently I really haven't fished here. But I do know, like you said, there is so much shallow cover across this lake. Yeah. Unless you're down on the south end where it's all docked up, pretty much the rest of it there is flooded something everywhere you look. So man, really my game plan is going to be get the trolling motor going right now and just
cover water,
feet down the bank, and see what kind of fish the Stein will kick out for us today. Just winding around, see if we can find a dumb one somewhere.
Find a dumb one.
We can find a dumb one. We'll settle down, see if we can find a little bit more dumb ones. We got Whiskey River on the jukebox. Well, there he is. There's a dumb one.
He's running too. Get over here, dummy.
That's a dang catfish. I'm gonna whoop you, Vic.
Nah, I ain't kidding.
He's dead. I'm gonna whoop you. That sucker's mad. Look at him go. That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Hey, pretty good luck. Look, bro. He needs to be like your fourth or fifth keeper, but like, if you were to get rid of a fish like this in a tournament, you'd be like, yeah, we won.
You're doing good.
We won. And we'll talk about it here in a little bit, but Palestine's kind of not been kicking out quite as many big ones as it used to, but that's a really solid first bite out here on Lake Palestine. Now that's going to be over 3 pounds, which even in the final round of heavy hitters or whatever, that would be a fish that would count for these guys. So
oh, yeah.
There's a 3-pounder.
They will take that all day.
He gone. Guys, we don't know Lake Palestine. Vic, have you ever even been here at all?
20-something years ago.
Okay, 20 years ago. I actually haven't been to Palestine in quite some time. In fact, the last time I was at Palestine, I think you guys saw a video. That's been a year or two ago at least. So we literally just launched the boat, and this is a good spawning area. Hey, guess what we did? We used the Fish Life app. On the Fish Life app, there's a waypoint on here in this bay where we launched that said fish are spawning throughout this pocket. Not knowing it, not knowing how fish are set up, Vic got the whale swim bait, I got the chatterbait, and we literally went KVD mode, man. We put the trolling motor on about half speed, held the button down, and just took off down the bank line, winding around. may have even heard me say we're just looking for a dumb one. Well, we just found the dumbest one in here so far. So, and that's what you're going to see a lot of with the way the lake is set up right now. You're probably going to see a lot of that in heavy hitters as well, of fish on the bank all over the lake, top to bottom, and guys just beating feet down a bank trying to catch as many of those 3-pound bass as they can. Because while Lake Palestine is not fishing as good as it has in past years for big bass, and like the tournament weights on best 5-stringers have come down some versus years past, there is still a ton of fish in this lake that look like, you know, 3 to 5 pounders. There's just a bunch of those in this lake. So it's gonna be a fun tournament to watch. Hopefully we're gonna have a fun day today. Vic, you ain't caught one yet.
We're gonna catch him.
Vic says we're gonna catch him. I know I'm not gonna zero. I know that. Charlie! I'm not zeroing, Charlie. Let me guess, you got front-ended, didn't you?
Got front-ended.
He got front-ended, folks.
I got front-ended with the chatterbait of all baits.
You know it was something with that. Go ahead. Go ahead, Pearsall. It's kind of like a bass.
But
oh, you know that's a fish landing violation. You got to sit down for 2 minutes. Go sit down. Go sit down. Yeah. Oh, come on. Come back and got it again, didn't you? That's a spawning male. That's a really aggressive male. And that may be why you lost a couple. They may not be eating it all because they're just pounding it because it's coming by their bed, you know? Yeah. Attaboy, Pearsall.
So Charlie.
Charlie's up 2-1. That's non-scoreable.
Yeah, he probably had 2 pounds. They gonna go 2 pounds out here?
I think they start at 2 pounds, but then in one of the rounds they go up to 3 on heavy hitters.
Oh, really?
A 3-pound minimum.
Little male.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, he definitely been spawning.
Either that or he just old skinny meat. That's old Chris Blackman fish right there. You know, Blackman lives on this lake.
He might be related to Blackman.
He might be. That's one of Chris's pets right there. If y'all know Chris from the podcast, he lives on this pond, and that's probably one of his little buddies.
Kind of got hard. Oh,
oh, you got a baby. Yeah, this is where the bigger ones spawn out here off the bank, big, don't you know?
it was hung up there for a second.
I saw it.
Gave it slack.
This is where the bigger ones spawn out off the bank. Dude.
Yeah, the big ones spawn off the bank.
Yeah, show that one to the camera because that's where the big ones spawn.
We'll get it real close to the camera and make it look big. Yeah, look how fat
you heavy hitter boys, pay attention to that right there.
Yes, sir.
That'll help them come.
Don't rattle that boat.
Oh, get him in the boat. Flip him up in here right now. Pull him, yank on him, get him in here. That's a good one. Don't lose that one, Vic. That one is solid. All right, you know what? I've got a whale swim bait headed my direction right now. I guarantee it. Victor, that one would count.
That one's gonna count.
That one would weigh. Good fish.
I think she'll work.
Hey, boy. Still just covering water, winding around all these flooded reeds that are plentiful. This first little stop on the old Fish Life app's paying off pretty good, boys. It told us to get in here and throw a swim bait in this cove. There's fish spawning all over it, and I would say that's exactly what's going on because we're covering a bunch of water, but we're getting bites. Oh, turned him. He bit it twice. He bit it the first time I ran through there and I didn't swing on him. He's just a bedding fish or something. He's not biting very good. Probably flip that little bug in there and catch him.
Got him.
Yeah. Get him in the boat right now. Just jerk him in. Just jerk him in. Come here. That's a fish landing violation.
Fish landing violation.
For sure. That's a for sure fish landing violation right there. That'll be a violation how hard that hook bone stuck him. That little ox hook's a bad dude. Just a little bitty male, but here's what we did, folks. Take a good look. Hey, Vic. You gotta give them that ear scratch. They like that right there. They come back and see you when they get bigger. So, made a little transition. You guys saw us winding around that first pocket. We literally just opened up. I mean, here's how this is going. We pull up to the lake, we open the Fish Life app. There's a waypoint in that bay where we launched the boat, and you guys saw what we did there. Went there, caught 4 or 5. Opened up the Fish Life app, looked at it, saw it here. It said pockets, and it said points and pockets, and there's several pockets along this stretch, few pockets along this stretch, and this is down the dams right there. So right down here by the clear water, the clearest water on the lake, I would assume. And pulled into the first real small pocket and saw a little bedfish. And you guys know, even though that was a little fish, I thought it was pretty small. I didn't know he was quite that small, but I can't really resist the whole bed fishing game. That playing with them, that mind game, dude, I love it. So Palestine's looking pretty good so far for heavy hitters. You can just kind of wind some baits around some reed heads and catch spawning bass, or you can come down here where you can see a little better and catch bedfish. Like, things are looking pretty good shape for the old heavy hitters coming up next week. Vic Pearsall with a good one. That's a good one, Vic.
That's a good one right there.
You can hold him out some. Show him off.
Oh,
yeah. Look how big he is, folks at home. He's so big. All right, dude. That's a good one right there.
Good fish. Raining right by them little reeds.
So, all right, guys. We changed areas. So, you guys saw us fish kind of mid-lake this morning, just running bank in a spot that's marked on the Fish Life app. Then we went down to the south end of the lake, looked, tried to sight fish a little bit. We actually saw more fish. You guys want to know, we saw one big one. We saw several other fish. Caught that one, but man, those fish just weren't really stuck on those beds. They weren't really committed. I don't know, it feels almost like we're just between waves of fish. So the sight fishing deal could play during the heavy hitters event. But now we've kind of come up to the north end of the lake. We're kind of fishing all 3 sections of the lake. The water's a little bit more stained, but man, that whale swim bait, this little whale swim bait from 6 Inch Fishing, even in a natural color, got our best one of the day so far right there, Vic. That's a good one. I know there's some boys next week that would want that one. We got up here and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna pick up the chatterbait. Let you throw the swim bait. I'm gonna throw the chatterbait. The water's a little dirtier. Just kind of cover both ends of that, you know. I'm gonna pick that swim bait back up. They biting that little swim bait up here. Oh, by the way, this little island of bushes and stuff, yeah, it's marked on the Fish Life app too. Literally everywhere we're fishing is marked on the Fish Life app, and every place we've gone to so far, we've got bed
we're catching them
right away. So, Fish Life app for real, guys. It ain't no joke. Get up here. No fish landing violations on an unschoolable. You definitely don't want to waste 2 minutes on an unschoolable, Vic.
No.
That's real important.
Especially when you're wasting time.
Yeah. He's got it funky in the corner of his mouth. All right. Just a little guy there.
Might have been smaller than mine.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Close.
I don't know about that.
I mean, close to the same size.
Anyways, just to move back into another little section of pocket or creek, whatever you want to call it, that looks much the same. These cattail or reed-lined areas seem to be holding the most fish. A little better water clarity here, and like every fish we've caught of, except for the one bedfish, every fish we've caught today has come around a reed line of some sorts, it seems like, Vic.
That was a violation there, just tossing it back like that, though.
Yeah, that's the dumb one there. Like, I kind of almost understand, like, the hey, don't drop them on the carpet deal. Yeah. But that whole don't toss it back 2 foot above the gunnel, I don't understand that. Well, Vic, you know, today was an interesting day to me because we started out pretty good. Started getting some bites pretty, you know, relatively quickly, relatively consistently on that whale swim bait from 6 Inch Fishing. By the way, guys, that is a super underrated swim bait. That little whale swim bait, I've been telling you guys about it all spring. It is dynamite. As you saw, man, they bite it. A lot of, you know, most of our fish catches came on it today. And it wasn't because we weren't trying to do other stuff. We tried to sight fish. We tried to throw a chatterbait. I threw a frog. We threw a clout stick bait. But that whale swim bait was really our breadwinner today. You can find that at 6inchfishing.com. Go there and order you some. When you do, be sure to use the code YourLakeFortGuide. get you 10% discount on all orders. Now that we got that out of the way, what we really came out here to do was to preview heavy hitters. And guys, what I want you to understand when you're seeing what you saw from the fishing action today, today's like a day one practice for us. Right. Because we don't come here. Vic hadn't been here in years. I hadn't been here maybe once in the last year or two, twice in the last year or two. We are really in a search mode, and panned out like we said in the beginning video. We were able to get on the trolling motor. We covered a ton of water today, and we did get a few bites and got a couple of good bites.
A couple good fish, yeah.
And if I was going to be fishing, not that I can compete with those guys, but if, let's say I was going to be fishing the Heavy Hitters Bass Pro Tour, I would feel pretty good about this day one, because we did mark. I mean, we located 3 different areas throughout the lake that we saw had fish. We could catch them sight fishing in one area, and hey, in a few days, those fish are probably going to be more aggressive on those beds. Yeah. I mean, don't you think?
Well, yeah, that, and with the fish moving up, the ones we did see and the one we caught, they were males. So those females are out there somewhere, and they're going to, by the time the tournament rolls around, the female's going to be up there with them males.
And we saw one really big female, but she was, man, most of the bed fish we saw, all but that one were just really, really skittish. They weren't really locked into the bed. It really feels like we're between waves, like I said earlier. Yeah. So there's going to be more fish coming to those guys in that Bass Pro Tour event. So you could see some guys doing some sight fishing at times. I don't think it's going to be, the way Lake Palestine sets up, most of the lake's not super conducive for sight fishing. The flooded cover kind of makes it so deep, like on the edge of these reeds that you see behind us. The flood, it's so deep on the edge of that, and when the water has enough, not that it's deep, but the water has enough stain in it, you really can't see fish very well on the edge of that. So you might see a bed fish here or there, but I don't think that's going to be the predominant pattern. I think what these guys are going to do is they're going to come out here the first day and they're going to do exactly what we just did. They're going to run as much bank as they can. They're going to fish shallow, I can assure you that. All the fish in this lake seem to be shallow right now, and I think that's going to be the case. It really feels like that. Bait fish, lots of bait up shallow on the bank as well. Yeah. So they're going to do that in practice, but when it comes tournament day, I honestly think what you're going to see most of these guys doing is flipping. Mm-hmm. Probably, just a light Texas rig, a medium-sized Texas rig, little creature baits. You're going to see these reed heads behind me. You're going to see laydowns and timber and some rock banks with docks on them. But you're going to see a lot of guys with their flipping stick out, to me, in this event and in every fish counts format. Yeah. Because, you're going to catch small fish flipping like that, just like we caught small fish winding today.
But they're going to be 2-pounders. They're scoreable.
And even when they move it up to 3-pounders, the deal is, like, those big fish are up there too. Yep. Those bigger fish are, the biggest one we caught today, guys, was the shallowest fish of the day. Yeah. So these fish are extremely shallow right now, even the bigger ones. So I think those guys are going to go along and just eat the non-scorables and catch the what they can over their minimum weight, be it 2 pounds or 3 pounds throughout the event. Right. And then the other thing, this lake sets up so well for a frog. It's kind of notorious for a frog. So when you start seeing guys really trying to go for bigger bites, man, I think that frog could come into play.
In a week's time, with the water warming up,
vegetation continues to grow and expand. There's definitely some really good areas, especially like when we went up north and went back in that creek arm up there. There's some stuff up there that looks real good to throw a frog at.
Like, we didn't even go all the way up there either.
No, we didn't, because we've had some rain here lately. So the backs of the northern creeks are muddied up real bad this week. Now, hopefully that'll clear up quite a bit by the time those guys get here, because that seems to be over the years traditionally where most of the tournaments get won is in the backs of these northern creeks on Lake Palestine. Yeah. But the last couple years, we've had a lack of grass in those creeks, and more tournaments, it seems like, are won mid-lake south on Lake Palestine. So, I'm kind of up in the air. I don't know how that's going to go as far as where the guys are going to fish on the lake. I will tell you, Lake Palestine is not fishing as good as it used to. It's in like a little bit of a down cycle the last year or two, and every once in a while you'll see a 30-pound bag come out of here, but man, it used to be consistently, even in the summertime, it was like a 25-pound bag to win a 5-fish tournament here. Right. Well, now you see a lot, and you've even seen a lot in the pre-spawn in this spring so far. You've seen some tournaments come out of here, and an 18-pound bag wins it, a 19-pound, a 17-pound bag wins it, a 20-pound bag wins it. That just used to never ever be the case out here.
Right.
Well, am I just covering everything too well?
I think you got it about covered. Them guys are pros. They know what they're doing. I think they're gonna knock it out of the park out here.
Hey man, if you want a guy to sit there and go right and just tell you you're right all the time, that's your man right there. Yeah. That's your man right there. Oh man, no, but good time out here on Lake Palestine. It's getting hot today.
It has warmed up.
I'm telling you, buddy, I'm about ready to put her on the rack because Fat Boy is hungry.
Yeah.
We've been out here for the better part of 6 hours straight now. Fat Boy is hungry, and I'm ready to put this thing on the rack. It's getting hot. I'm starting to sweat a little bit. I want to get in some bald air. I want a double cheeseburger, and I want probably a dip cone from Dairy Queen.
Dip cone? Yeah.
That you know about them dip cones? Good. What y'all know about them dip cones from Dairy Queen? Do they have those out of state? I don't know.
They got Dairy Queens everywhere, don't they?
Do they? I don't know. Y'all drop in the comments. Do y'all have Dairy Queens outside of Texas? I mean, it is what I like about Texas. Most of y'all know what we're talking about. The rest of y'all that don't, I'm sorry for your bad luck here, because that Dairy Queen comes in clutch on them hot fishing days.
It does.
Hey, man, thank you guys so much for joining us always. One last plug before we go. The Dadgum Fish Life app. I mean to tell you, literally all the areas that we caught fishing today, we rolled up on because of the Fish Life app. Spelled with a Y, L-Y-F-E. It's linked in the description. Go down there, download it, check it out for free. If there's a lake on there that piques your interest, including Lake Palestine, or Lake Fork, or Rayburn, or Toledo,
Athens,
Texoma, Athens, Lake of the Pines, Hubbard, Levon, Louisville, Grapevine, just most of our regional lakes plus Lake OHIV. And even if there's anybody watching from East Tennessee, we have an East Tennessee super package that's made by Mr. Bass Geek over there in East Tennessee, and he does a fine job on that. So y'all go check those out. If you want the best fishing advice, if you want to know right where fish are and exactly the type of area that is and exactly the type of baits they're biting, that Fish Life app's on it, ain't it, Vic? I know you've used it on other lakes.
Yeah, I've used it on other lakes and helped with some of the content. And I mean, the spots we fished are marked on there, and that's where we caught them. Yeah, it's unbelievable how effective it is. And I mean, just yesterday I had a guy message me that morning because he caught a 1086 on Lake Fork on a Fish Life spot. So I mean, it's just, it happens all the time, and it's just an unbelievable tool. If you guys are wanting to gain some knowledge, cut the learning curve on bodies of water, I can't recommend anything more than I would the Fish Life app. I've rambled long enough. I'm hot, fat, sweaty, and hungry. Thank you guys for watching once again. Vic, thank you for joining me as always. No problem.
We'll see you guys next time right here on your Lake Fork Guide.